Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, welcome to the Champions War League. I'm your host, Powerbang, and we've got some awesome action from around the CWL in what was a jam-packed weekend of Clash of Clans Clan Wars. Before we get into this week's action, let's first talk about the CWL, what exactly that is, since this is brand new for everyone involved. CWL stands for the Champions War League, and it is home to 32 of the best clans in Clash of Clans. Elite mixed war clans battle it out on a weekly basis in a league formatted very similarly to the United States National Football League. Clans will face off against one another for 13 weeks this season until division leaders and a couple of wild cards from the Barbarian King and Archer Queen conferences respectively will battle it out in the playoffs until ultimately one champion is crowned. So what's this channel going to be about? Well, that's pretty easy. All things CWL, war coverage, highlights, top raids, predictions, power rankings, guest interviews, roundtable discussions, you name it, it'll be here. A lot of big things are already in the works with regards to the channel and the league itself, so do yourself a favor and hit that subscribe button because you will not want to miss the awesome CWL coverage of some of the game's best players and clans. Let's jump straight into Champions War League Week 2 action with Six Schlitzes and Bye Forever. One of the first matchups of the week, Bye Forever getting the narrow 80-78 victory. 91-90 in total destruction, so a solid victory there for Bye Forever. They get their first win this week, and they'll look to make it 2 in a row next week against winless We Are Spartans, while Six Schlitzes should be favored against 3 Point Park next week as they try to pick up their first win. 100% Adults struggles to get on the board this week, and they end up winless as well. 0-2 is the record for them. They got a crucial Week 3 matchup next week against winless Beast Mode. One of those two teams has an opportunity to turn their season around, while the other is likely headed down a path of no return. North Watchers this week will get the first win of their CWL career, putting up an impressive 95.63%. That was one of the highest 30v30 marks of the whole weekend, and North Watchers will be a favorite to take the lead in the Balloon Division this week against Just Clash Maui. Terps win big, suffering a second tie in a row. Week 1 was also a tie against WHF. This time, they came out on the right side of the percentage, picking up a narrow 0.04% victory over Bada Bing Clan. Bada Bing Clan is on life support right now with a 0-2 record. They can't afford any more missteps if they hope to keep pace in that bowler division. Terps win big, will attempt to climb the Minion division next week with a win over the bottom-feeding Crystal Warrior Clan. In one of the most impressive wars of the week, Dark Looters improves their record to 2-0, picking up a 7-star victory. That is the largest star differential of the week at 30v30. Faked Wargasm suffered an identity crisis. King Clashers faked Wargasm, who even knows? They'll look to rebound next week against an undefeated Midwinters clan who has improved their record to 2-0. Dark Looters now leads a stacked Goblin division. They'll remain undefeated with an impressive win here over Faked Wargasm. In one of this week's few 40v40 matchups, Spartans Legacy was able to improve their record to 2-0 as they picked up a convincing victory over the Immoral Thieves, who is now 1-1. 108-104 was the final with a significant margin of victory on the total destruction for Spartans Legacy. They were one of the week's only 40v40s, and Immoral Thieves has another tough test next week against Reddit Omega, who did win the War of the Week this week. We'll see more on that in a bit, but they'll look to rebound there, and by competing at 40v40, SL is able to pad their star differential margin, which is incredibly smart, as this could come into play later on in the league if it comes down to a tiebreaker. Just Clash Maui getting on the board with an 83-81 victory over Beast Mode. They are able to secure the 2-star victory here despite losing the percentage battle. Beast Mode in big trouble after they have a winless start. They're trying to turn their season around next week against the winless 100% Adults clan. JCM will battle North Watchers in Week 3 for Balloon Division supremacy. Mariana Trench stays hot this week with an 84-83 victory over King Jeffrey. King Jeffrey falls to 1-1. 94.13% for Mariana Trench in total destruction, so not bad at all. They're finally stepping out of the shadow of the War Whales, who is their sister clan, or they feed them. I'm not sure exactly what the relationship is there, but they're starting to shine on their own accord, which is great for them. King Jeffrey drops a tough one, but they can rebound next week against Guantanamo Bay. A solid Town Hall 10 versus Town Hall 10 performance leads Mariana Trench into a tough matchup next week against the undefeated Swarm. WHF and Midwinters did battle this weekend, and it was another tie for WHF. This time, just like Terps win big, they find themselves on the opposite side of things this time around, losing on percentage to a Midwinters clan that did not lead the entire war, yet walked away with the victory. WHF posted high 90% attacks on the same Town Hall 10 base over and over and over, but failed to clean it to clinch the war. Midwinters will continue that hot start, and they will lead the Golem division as they move into Week 3. In a battle of ex-family clans, One Hive is able to prove their supremacy over One Hive Genesis 83-77, a significant margin of victory both on stars and total destruction. Genesis struggled this week with former Big Brother clan One Hive, and it doesn't get any easier for them next week against War Whales. One Hive silenced some doubters this week with a convincing and strong performance against One Hive Genesis. Now, one of the later wars of the week, finishing up here on Tuesday, Powercock finishes with an 82-78 victory over Dark Contingent. Dark Contingent falls to a winless 0-2. They're going to need to rebound next week against Grand Witch Auto, who is one of the strongest clans in the league right now. Powercock controls the war for the duration of this war and picks up their first win of the season here, and they were one of the few clans this week to attempt a Town Hall 11 versus Town Hall 11 triple. Didn't get it, but close. Nice try, guys. Next up, we've got South Raiders, 81-78 victors over Crystal Warrior. Crystal Warrior really struggling in the CWL right now. Winless so far. Can they turn it around in Week 3 before it's too late? Both clans will face manageable opponents next week. Look for them to add to the win column. South Raiders will keep pace with the division favorite War Whales this week with a win over Crystal Warrior. One of the hottest clans in the league right now, the Swarm, turning in a very strong Town Hall 9 performance as they debut in the CWL at 2 wins, 0 losses, 81-80 this week over Clantanamo Bay. Clantanamo Bay falls to 1-1. They'll have to rebound next week versus King Jeffrey, also 1-1. The Swarm and Mariana Trench will do battle in a battle of unbeatens in Week 3. Who's going to move to 3-0 in that war? In one of this week's more interesting matchups, 3 Point Park goes up against We Are Spartans. Alex here is going to show us one of their highlighted raids from the week. 3 Point Park suffered a lot of criticism after their disappointing Week 1 performance where they got absolutely smoked and blown out. A lot of people questioned whether or not they belong. Really happy to see them this week fight back, come out with a victory over We Are Spartans. Very, very nice job taking the criticism and doing something about it. After being slaughtered in Week 1, they now have sole control over first place in their P.E.K.K.A division. Quite something here. Alex pushes into this base with his heroes and bowlers, taking absolutely no prisoners, smashing both Inferno Towers and hitting the corners with the Hog Riders there. They step into the heal spell. Everything looking pretty dang good here as they clean up the top side of this base. Heroes still chugging along. They are all alive at this point. But really nice job here from Alex. He's going to finish up the raid. Beautiful work. Final score for this one, 3 Point Park, 112. We Are Spartans, 111. We Are Spartans, they got the percentage victory here, but they didn't quite secure that last star they needed to put them over the top. In one of the most impressive performances of the week, Grand Witch Auto clears the Town Hall 9s and the Town Hall 10s against Reddit Alchemy, dropping them to 0-2. Grand Witch Auto improves to a 2-0 perfect record, and they had a 6-star differential in this one. 95% total destruction. They remain undefeated. They're on an absolute tear. Reddit Alchemy's going to look to rebound next week over Powercock, who comes into the match at 1-1, and they're going to try to post their first CWL victory. Very nice attack here from Daniel from Grand Witch Auto. He brings the heroes and bowlers in again. Very common attack. You're seeing like the Stoned Hobo quite a bit at Town Hall 10, bringing in the golems in front of the bowlers and heroes as they get to Inferno Tower and take that out. Try to carve out a significant section of the middle of this base. He does a great job with his queen, pathing her over. Looks like he should be going to that Inferno Tower to meet up with it just around the time the hogs will arrive. She's going to have to get over there, lock onto it, but a freeze spell is going to actually freeze up the Inferno. The hogs get in there first. The queen's just chilling. She'll stay in the middle of this raid and stay alive while the hogs go ahead and finish everything up. The king's still tanking here. Everything working its way around the outside of the ring. One heal spell left, and that's going to be plenty to get these hogs through this last section. They heal up to full, go through the last quadrant, and that'll wrap up the recap for this particular war. Grand Witch Auto victorious 86-80. In one of this week's most exciting matchups, it was a thriller that came down to the very end. We had the War Whales going up against the Dark Knights. Ended up with War Whales unable to grab enough stars to defeat the upstart TDK in this week's 40v40 thriller. The Dark Knights relied on clutch performances to secure a last-moment victory over the Whales. They will entertain One Hive in week 3 as they try to maintain control of that minion division. War Whales will look to rebound next week and become, again, the favorite in their division. Justin here from the Dark Knights will actually enter here with a P.E.K.K.A, of all things, behind his golems. He's going to head into this base with his heroes, head in with some golems. Poison spells receive that clan castle. They're going to do some work and try to get into the core here. He's got a jump spell between the Inferno Towers. Looks like he should be able to make the push on the right with the King and the P.E.K.K.A, unless everything redirects to the core. The Queen starts to fire. There goes the King. He's going to redirect, but the P.E.K.K.A continues on. The Queen is down at this point. The P.E.K.K.A goes over to the Inferno Tower, gets that knocked out, and the Archer Queen is actually going to hop the wall and take out the other Inferno Tower. Beautiful work here from Justin. Now the Hog Riders come in. 3 heal spells remaining for this attack, guys, so this is pretty much all said and done. Just has to go ahead, keep the Queen alive for the cleanup as long as possible, and then have those Hogs kept full as they progress through the base. The cleanup down on the top left of the ring, and this is going to be a 3-star for the Dark Knights. 111-110 was your final. Very good job to them. Awesome war to both clans. Let's look forward to week 3 for both of them. In this week's War of the Week, we had North Remembers versus Reddit Omega, 2 very strong clans, both of whom are favored to make the playoffs and eventually make a splash there. You're going to see Who Am I come down here with 2 baby dragons to funnel and watch the absolute smash fest that goes on this Town Hall 9 base. Very nice job setting up the funnel, and with those wedge shapes on the outside of the base, as you see with the Expo kind of leading everything in, that's an ideal spot to funnel in those boulders so they do not have a chance to walk around the base. Reddit Omega is able to keep pace in a very strong Hog Rider division, and North Remembers' last hour push to even the score here falls just short. They were ahead on percentage, but they fell just short on stars. Reddit Omega looks to remain undefeated next week, while North Remembers will look to rebound against the undefeated Spartans Legacy. Now, we've got a couple more highlights from this one as it is the War of the Week. Wanted to give it a little bit more attention. We've got Hog Riders coming in from the top, absolutely smashing the base. Look at the push that the Bowlers and the Golem and the Queen are getting here. Crazy, crazy push. We still have Hog Riders remaining. Not a whole lot of defenses left. The Queen kind of getting killed, but we've got 2 full health golems tanking the remaining defenses here as the Hogs push their way through, and he still has 6 of them left in the bag. He's going to absolutely smash this thing up and get into the cleanup. Let's watch a couple of the winner's side, Reddit Omega. We'll start with the Hans Emperor 2. Making a splash here, going up against Squy Q. Bringing the baby dragon in here to start funneling. You can see he's going to bring a Zap Quake here with some dragons. Not something that you very commonly see at Town Hall 10, but it is absolutely viable. So we're going to watch here as the Zap Quakes go down on the rear air defenses, getting both of those taken care of. Most of the spells now have been used. We've got a couple of heroes and mostly dragons now to try to do damage on the air defenses that are remaining and help those dragons get in to take those out as soon as possible. I love this walk here, attracting all of the attention with his king, getting those trash buildings cleared to open up the defenses. But check this out. The Queen walks in naked, and she's going to take out the cannons, use the ability, get the Expo, and then step forward and get that 3rd air defense taken out before the raid starts. The cannons are firing at her, but they are too slow. Only 1 air defense remaining as we have 9 dragons to help create the funnel. Several more to go in and attack that air defense and get it taken care of. And we've got a few balloons coming in on that top side. Look at that. We've got that Archer Tower getting taken care of. And here we have the final assault on this base, and a Lava Hound is being dropped to go ahead and tank the air defense and the Archer Queen as all of the dragons approach. We have 1 Inferno Tower left. That's where the rage spell is going to get used. Everything getting crushed right now. Air defense down, Inferno down, queen down, and the rest of this base is just basically up for the taking as the dragons push their way through, mostly at full health here, and they are going to absolutely wreck this base. Seeking Airmine fortunately goes after the baby dragon, and that still leaves him with all of his dragons at this point doing work in the core against all of the rest of the concentrated defense there. Baby dragon up top starting the cleanup process, and the king at the beginning has already started that cleanup process on the bottom side. That's going to also keep the dragons funneled into the core here. They obviously are too strong here, and they will not be stopped. We've got a dragon versus a wizard tower on the bottom. Dragon will win that fight, a pretty key one, as it's going to be able to continue helping to clean up as the remainder of the dragons push through the base. Very nice job to Dahan's Emperors. Let's go ahead and check out their Town Hall 9 game here with Cervello. So Cervello is going to go ahead, drop in the queen charge, and he gets started with a little baby dragon for funneling. Queen's going to walk to the left here. He's going to be following this up with a Laloon, and this is an impressive attack. So going to take out this elixir storage, step up to the dark elixir or dark spell factory, and then go towards the wall for a walk. 4 rage spells in this one, and he's got a skeleton spell as well. We'll have to wait and see how that skeleton spell gets used later on in this raid. I have a feeling it's going to come in and play a key role because he's nowhere near that enemy archer queen right now. She's going to continue on with the walk, taking out a little bit of a mini Tesla farm here, working her way around the corner, and we are trying to open up some air defenses for that queen to take care of, as well as the king eventually to get in as well. 9 wall breakers here lead me to believe that she's going to make a significant charge at some point. We drop in a minion up top, get the clan castle lured, only the baby dragon comes out, so the rest are non-air targeting, probably some goblins. But here we go. This is where we got the CC encounter. The queen's going to drop the poison spell for the baby dragon to slow up that rage, and she's going to continue on the walk here. So very slow setup of the attack, just kind of being deliberate in his methods, and here we go. Wall breakers go down, test one sets off the bomb, and we got some following wall breakers after that. He just drops a whole bunch of them, and would you look at that, he's going to get in and take out a second layer of wall breakers. Holy cow, the king heads in. What a beautiful setup here. Even the queen is going to take out the expo and path back to the right. Just expert funneling being done there. And eventually, she will head in towards that air defense and take that out before the loons arrive. Only 10 loons being used here. And you can see the queen is having her way with a couple of them. Rage bells down for the balloons on the bottom. Lava Hound still alive. But what is going to happen with that queen? She is still running loose. Friendly Archer Queen taking out the Expo in the core. That was a pretty big kill there. This is where it gets a little bit interesting. Rage Spell down. Wow. Skeletons in the Rage Spell. MVP gets the Queen instantly. Look at the pups. Look at the skellies. Watch that King's health just evaporate. Beautiful play there from Cervello. And that is going to do it for this base. It's absolutely cooked. Reddit Omega sneaking away with the victory in this way. This CWL War of the Week. 81-80 over North Remembers. Great job, guys. Again, the theme of the week was very, very tough going at Town Hall 10 and Town Hall 11 especially. Very few Town Hall 10 versus Town Hall 10 triples across the league. We had probably an average of 1 per clan. Some clans got 0. Very few clans got multiples. So that's a talking point moving forward, especially hitting these higher weight bases. We will have to keep a monitor on that. We will release some more detailed statistics later on this week. That's it for this week's coverage, but looking forward to next week. Week 3 in the Clan War League. There are quite a few key matchups that could play a very prominent role in determining the power players of this year's Clan War League. First, we'll start with the War of the Week, Dark Looters versus WHF. Dark Looters comes into the war undefeated 2-0, trying to make it 3-0, where they will be favored against WHF, who's coming off a very heartbreaking loss against Midwinters. Last moment defeat there on Total Destruction. So we will look forward to that War of the Week, which will be streamed at Powerbang Gaming's Twitch channel. Next up is the Swarm and Mariana Trench. 2-0 for both clans, looking to be the only battle of unbeatens this week. One of those clans will emerge to 3-0. Who is it going to be? Next, we've got Spartan's Legacy at 2-0 versus North Remembers. North Remembers trying to bounce back from their War of the Week loss against Reddit Omega. Nice performance from them, but They have to get over Spartan's Legacy to rebound from that. Lastly, we're going to highlight the Dark Knights at 2-0 versus One Hive, who is also trying to prove themselves and regain some of what they've lost as far as their reputation goes. 2-0 against 1-1. The Dark Knights slightly favored there, but should be interesting. Looking over the CWL standings to wrap up this video, we're looking at the Barbarian King Conference. Very, very strong performance through the first 2 weeks. The Archer Queen Conference, I can't say the same. Lagging behind a little bit. Very few clans at 2 wins. Only the Dark Knights at 2-0 out of the whole Archer Queen Conference. Whereas on the other side of the fence, we've got, it looks like 7 clans with 2 wins in the Barb King Conference. So definitely the stronger conference. On the top of the bracket here, in the Hog Division, we've got the Swarm, Reddit Omega, and Mariana Trench battling it out for supremacy there. The Witch Division, you've got Spartan's Legacy in control, but North Remembers sniffing close at their heels. In the Golem Division, Midwinters has staked their claim at 2-0. And in the Goblin Division, you've got 3 main players in Dark Looters, Grand Witch Otto, and WHF, all very strong clans indeed. Archer Queen Conference, we've got 3 Point Park, who received a lot of flack in their first week's performance. They have sole possession of the P.E.K.K.A. division right now at 1-1, so good job to them. In the Balloon Division, Bye Forever, Just Clash Maui, and the North Watchers all tied at 1-1. North Watchers favored to pull ahead in that Balloon Division. In the Bowler Division, we've got One Hive, Genesis, South Raiders, and War Whales all with 1 win apiece. War Whales expected to rebound and push ahead in the Bowler Division. Now over in the Minion Division, we've got a couple big players there in the Dark Knights and One Hive. The Dark Knights getting that impressive victory over the War Whales this week, sitting at 2-0 as the only team undefeated in the Archer Queen Conference, so props to them. Well, this has been your host, Powerbang, and that's going to wrap up this week's show. But before we close out of here, let's talk about some ways you guys can support the channel. First, subscribe. That absolutely helps us out. We want to make this league big, huge, massive for you guys, for the community. We are here to provide Clash of Clans with an absolutely fun community for the players, for us, so that we can enjoy this game moving forward indefinitely. Another thing that you can do is subscribe to all of the other YouTubers that are featured on the main page of the Champions War League YouTube channel. So if you like today's video and want more where that came from, hit the like button for me. Come back tomorrow and we will be featuring a power rankings from the entire Champions War League. We will start at the bottom and work our way up to the strongest clans in the CWL. Who is it going to be? Tell me who you think is the strongest right now in the CWL. Give me your top 10 in the comments. Look forward to hearing from you. We will see you guys tomorrow. This has been Powerbang, your host, and I will catch you guys then.